5 hidden health challenges seniors face every day. There is a certain kind of health problem that never makes it onto the doctor's checklist. It doesn't arrive dramatically. It doesn't send you to the emergency room. It doesn't even have a name most of the time. It just quietly shows up every single morning in the way you feel getting out of bed, or the energy you don't quite have by noon. Most people over 60 are dealing with at least 3 or 4 of these challenges right now, and most of them have never been told what's actually causing them, let alone what to do about it. That's exactly what this video is going to change. Today we're covering 5 of the most common hidden health challenges seniors face every single day. Not the obvious ones you already know about. The quiet ones. The ones that get dismissed as just getting older when every single one of them is specific, understood, and addressable. For each challenge, we'll tell you what it actually is, why it happens, what it feels like from the inside, and one practical thing you can start doing about it today. No equipment, no medications, no complicated programs. Let's get into it. Hidden challenge number 1, and arguably the most widespread of all 5, is chronic low-grade dehydration. Now, before you say, "I drink enough water," hear this out. Because this particular challenge is hidden for a very specific biological reason. As we age, the body's thirst mechanism weakens. The signal that tells your brain you need water becomes slower, quieter, and far less reliable. This means that by the time a senior feels genuinely thirsty, they are already meaningfully dehydrated. And the symptoms of mild chronic dehydration are almost perfectly designed to be misattributed to something else entirely. Fatigue that sets in by mid-morning? Often dehydration. A dull headache that comes and goes through the day? Frequently dehydration. Difficulty concentrating, foggy thinking, feeling irritable or low for no clear reason. Dehydration is one of the first things to rule out and one of the last things most people consider. There's also a physical dimension. Joints rely on fluid for cushioning. Constipation, one of the most common digestive complaints in older adults, is directly worsened by insufficient hydration. Even blood pressure can be affected by chronically low fluid intake. Don't wait for thirst. Build a simple sip schedule, drinking a small glass of water at set times throughout the day, regardless of whether you feel thirsty. Pairing it with things you already do, morning coffee, meals, afternoon television, makes it automatic rather than effortful. Start tomorrow morning with a full glass of water before anything else. Just that one change, done consistently, makes a difference most people feel within days. Hidden challenge number 2 is one that most seniors are dimly aware of, but very few understand the real mechanism behind it. Balance decline. Falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among adults over 65. But what rarely gets discussed is what actually causes balance to go, because it's almost never one single thing. Your body maintains balance through a 3-way conversation between your eyes, the balance organs in your inner ear, and sensory receptors in your feet and ankles called proprioceptors. These tiny receptors constantly send signals to your brain telling it exactly where your body is in space. As we age, all 3 of these systems lose sensitivity. The inner ear becomes less responsive, vision sharpness decreases, and proprioception, that sense of where your feet are and whether the surface beneath them is level, dulls significantly, particularly in the feet and ankles. The result is a body that is constantly working harder to maintain stability and succeeding less reliably than it used to. What makes this hidden is that the decline is gradual. Many seniors adapt their behavior without consciously realizing it, holding on to things more, shortening their stride, avoiding uneven ground. These adaptations feel like caution, but they actually accelerate the decline by reducing the very challenges the balance system needs to stay sharp. What to do about it? Stand behind a sturdy chair, hold the back lightly for safety, and lift one foot slightly off the ground. Hold for 10 seconds. Switch feet. Repeat 3 times on each side. Done daily, this simple exercise reactivates proprioceptive pathways and significantly improves stability. Studies show meaningful improvements in balance in as little as 4 to 6 weeks of daily practice. Hidden challenge number 3 affects the majority of adults over 60 and yet is almost universally accepted as simply inevitable. Poor sleep quality. Not insomnia in the dramatic sense, something subtler and in many ways more damaging, the kind of sleep that happens technically but doesn't restore. Here's what changes in the sleep of older adults. The amount of time spent in deep, slow-wave sleep, the most physically restorative stage, decreases significantly with age. REM sleep, critical for memory and emotional processing, also diminishes. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, and more easily disrupted. The result is that a senior might spend 8 hours in bed and wake up feeling like they barely slept. Not because they're doing anything wrong, but because the structure of their sleep has quietly changed. The downstream effects touch everything. Cognitive sharpness suffers. Mood becomes more fragile. The immune system weakens. And chronic poor sleep is now recognized as one of the modifiable risk factors for Alzheimer's disease because sleep is the window during which the brain clears the metabolic waste products associated with cognitive decline. What to do about it? Consistency in sleep and wake times is the single most powerful lever for improving sleep quality in older adults. Going to bed and waking at the same time every day, including weekends, anchors your circadian rhythm. Pair that with a 10-minute wind-down ritual before bed, dimming lights, stepping away from screens, doing gentle stretching or slow breathing, and you begin signaling to your nervous system that the day is ending and deep rest is coming. Hidden challenge number 4 is perhaps the most emotionally significant on this list, and the most consistently underestimated in terms of its impact on physical health. Social isolation and the cognitive decline that quietly follows it. Loneliness among older adults has reached levels that public health researchers now describe as an epidemic, and the health consequences are no longer abstract. They are documented, specific, and serious chronic social isolation raises cortisol levels, increases systemic inflammation, disrupts sleep, suppresses immune function, and most significantly for seniors, dramatically accelerates cognitive decline. The brain is fundamentally a social organ. It evolved to be stimulated by conversation, connection, shared experience, and the complex emotional processing that comes with human relationships. When that stimulation is absent, the brain begins to withdraw. Memory sharpens less. Problem solving slows. The motivation to engage with the world quietly diminishes. What makes this hidden is that isolation rarely announces itself. It accumulates slowly. Driving stops. A spouse passes away. Friends move or become unwell. Each loss feels manageable individually, but the cumulative effect on daily mental and emotional stimulation is enormous. Treat social connection as a non-negotiable health activity, not an optional pleasure. Schedule one meaningful interaction every single day. A phone call, a walk with a neighbor, a video call with a grandchild, a community class or group. Research shows that even brief, regular, positive social contact meaningfully reduces the biological markers of loneliness and protects cognitive function over time. The key word is regular. Consistent daily engagement is what produces the protective effect. Hidden challenge number 5 is almost universally dismissed as something you simply have to live with: digestive slowdown. The medical term is reduced gastrointestinal motility, meaning the muscles of the digestive tract move food through more slowly than they did in younger years. The result is a range of symptoms seniors often accept as their new normal: bloating, constipation, a feeling of fullness that lingers too long, reduced appetite, and the discomfort of a system that just doesn't work as smoothly as it once did. But beyond the discomfort, there is a more serious layer that rarely gets discussed. Slower digestion affects nutrient absorption. The vitamins, minerals, and proteins your body extracts from food depend in part on food moving through at the right pace. When motility slows, nutrient extraction becomes less efficient, contributing to deficiencies in B12, magnesium, and other critical nutrients, even when dietary intake seems perfectly adequate. Several factors compound this with age. Reduced physical activity slows gut motility further. The digestive system responds directly to movement. Certain medications extremely common among seniors, including pain relievers and blood pressure medications, list constipation as a side effect. And reduced water intake, which we covered in Challenge 1, directly impacts the ease of digestion and elimination. What to do about it? 3 simple habits address the vast majority of age-related digestive slowdown. First, gentle movement after meals. Even a 10-minute walk after lunch activates gut motility in a way that sitting does not. Second, consistent hydration throughout the day. And third, consciously adding one fiber-rich food to each meal, whether berries with breakfast, leafy greens at lunch, or legumes at dinner. Fiber is the single most evidence-supported dietary intervention for digestive regularity, and most seniors consume less than half the recommended daily amount. Let's bring all 5 together for a moment. 5 challenges, each one quiet, each one gradual, each one so easily mistaken for simply getting older that most people never think to address them directly. But here is what matters most. And this is the takeaway we want you to leave with today. None of these are inevitable. They are the predictable result of specific biological changes that happen with age. But they are changes the body can respond to, adapt to, and in many cases significantly improve from when given the right inputs consistently over time. The solutions we shared today are not dramatic or expensive. They don't require a gym, a specialist, or perfect health to begin. They require consistency and the understanding that small daily choices, a glass of water in the morning, 10 minutes of balance practice, a phone call to a friend, a short walk after dinner, are not small at all. Compounded over weeks and months, they are the difference between a body that is quietly declining and one that is actively holding its ground. If this video helped you see your daily experience in a new light, or if it made you think of someone you love who might be quietly dealing with one or more of these challenges, please share it with them. The people who need this information most are often the ones least likely to go looking for it. A shared video can genuinely change someone's daily life. If you found this valuable, a like takes 2 seconds and helps this video reach more seniors and families who are searching for exactly this kind of honest, practical health information. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Every week we publish new videos focused on the real daily health challenges of life after 60 practical information, delivered clearly, with your independence and quality of life as the only goal. And before you go, our next video is one that takes everything you learned today one step further. It's called The Power of a 15-Minute Daily Walk. And if today's video resonated with you, that one is going to feel like the perfect next step. It's linked right above. We'll see you there.